Yes, it's 2026, everyone. So whether or not you're watching this in that very year, this subject matter is the next journey in your own soul growth development after you stop living your life for other people. And in my other videos, if this is your very first introduction to me, hi, I'm Kat Woodland. I'm currently in my laundry room, and this is also a closet, hence the lockers behind me. I'm cleaning up, I'm getting organized, we're assessing, and that is what the year 2026 is all about. It's assessing. We've been through the journey of discovering we are the children of narcissistic mothers or the like. We have gone through the grief and the descent from the death zone of Mount Everest, which is essentially metaphor for living in an environment that will kill us, which is a fantasy they make of us, which is you're not anything other than a tool in the narcissist's dream of what their life is to be. You're only a doll they take off the shelf when they want to play with it. You're a prop they put into their fantasy of their grandiosity. Now, if they're malignant, then that's completely different. They secretly destroy you because they're first attracted to your goodness and your innocence. And so what we're doing here in 2026 is we're stepping out of one of the things that is in the Kumba ice falls, which are these big, huge, what do you call those things? Chasms? Those ding that you fall into. The point being, staying in the victim mentality, why me? Why me? Now we're taking our life to the next level. We're not just physical creatures. We have had a very hellacious experience on the planet as spiritual beings. And it's evidenced by perhaps our perceived poverty, our shoebox kitchens, our lack of savings accounts and whatnot. It doesn't matter for a rich and rich soul. But I'm not trying to be Christian and be rewarded in the afterlife. I'm talking about rewarding myself in the now life by we come out of the victim mentality and we say to ourselves, if this was part of my life design when I was on the other side, and I decided this was going to be what I needed to do in order to go to my next level of soul development, because ascension and soul development is the name of the game here, then how did the benefit of having a narcissistic mother serve me? Loss of ego. So rather than, oh gosh, I learned early on I wasn't special, I wasn't important, I wasn't beautiful, even though I was to many, many people around me. And I was voted 3 things in my little high school. I was voted most, and this is your high school year, most life-loving, most athletic, and most artistic. I won a poster contest when I was in 6th grade. I won some other achievements because of my artwork. I wrote a song and performed it for my sister's graduation. Prior to that, they still had religion, so it was called a baccalaureate. They went to her church. I sang for her ceremony. I was in 1980, the last year in New Hampshire. That church was part of graduation. After that, we didn't get to do the baccalaureate. We just did graduation. Whatever. Before it was a 2-day ceremony, big deal. But hey, where I'm going with it in 2026 is there's a whole new world of how to see things when you look at them as, what is my soul telling me and how can I grow from this? And how is my experience? How is my experience, my little experience as me? How how does that actually relate to the whole? So I looked into it and was completely 100% blown away by the amount of toxicity that there is online. And I'll link in the description the video I have of women over 50, you're better off alone. And it's true, but this is not what this video is about. This video is about to really, it's reassessing how that plays out. So just to answer back to what it is I said about that thing, we have the war between the sexes. It's an implanted mind virus that's all pervasive in society. Somebody like me broadcasting from a closet wearing a raccoon hat. I mean, really? You can take me seriously? But I'm here to tell you, these here are times of the war is of the darkness. It's principalities of good versus evil. So you look at what you think is good, and you look at what you think is evil. And you define what those are. Nobody can tell you. There is no judgment here because there is no religious implication to the truth between the fact of this war between the sexes that men want to blame on feminism. But what they didn't realize is they were abusing their wives. And men who have never realized that women have been abused by their husbands badly think we're crazy. It's like, listen, I'm sane. I got away. Society punishes me. I won't allow anybody else to. Every woman knows when you're a married woman, society treats you like you've got the golden ticket to the Willy Wonka chocolate factory. So anyway, I'm a warrioress, and that's what I was going to say. Begin to think of yourself as I am, as a warrior, but with the heart of a child. I have an innocent heart of a child. I remember so much of my childhood. I had a dream and became a vegetarian at 17. I know we have the ability to have memory installations rather than complete mind wipe. Because what did you guys say in the reincarnation loop that having a complete mind wipe is not fair at all? It's like playing a Mario Brothers game. That's all I know. It's playing a Mario Brothers game and not allowing a person to have a memory to remember where all the obstacles and then are, as well as all the good things are. So if you don't know what to look out for both opportunities and for hazards, then it's not a fair game. Who said life is fair? The world's fair. Okay, all that crap that you hear about in the Tartaria people. And Tartaria is psyop, by the way. But anyway, the thing about our world is that it is such a topsy-turvy one that you better start getting in deep with yourself. And remember your childhood. And I remember so much. That's why I know that we don't have to have a complete mind wipe. However, it's probably then going to give us more hardships. If I am an example of that. Now, I aim to become a more financially solvent person because I am making it, but it's not to a manner at which is keeping abreast of what our societal norms have become because of corporations. So the 3 to 6% raise in costs plus now per year, actually 10%. Some of us on the planet are finding that's really scaring us. We can feel it right in here. It's like, because it essentially does make it so that we have less. Because not all of us can have money in these interest-bearing accounts. And I've said before, I'm going to keep it very basic because we all know you can't just invest 1,000 anymore. 1,000 here in a bank, and then 1,000 that's put into a. Let's start here. See this? Right? This is $1,000 that you just put in a bank, and this is $1,000 back in the good old days when you could put it into a CD and make whatever percent. So this is going to go up in value, and this 1,000 doesn't. In fact, now society says this $1,000 in the bank is even less. See? So if you can't invest because you don't have that 15 grand minimum, then you're SOL. Your money will always go backwards. And that's why we have a debt-based society. So rather than going, woe is me, I'm like, well, since I'm living outside of the system, how can I make that experience work for me? I'm not being rewarded by the system. So how can I actually then, I'm not sucking off the teat of the system. So how can I live my life free? And it's scary. It really is. I'm not recommending it, but it gives me the ability to see. So if my life is such that I had partners who did not know the basics of being with a woman. So let me tell you, the basics of being with a woman is that her happiness is your happiness and wealth. Okay? That's the basics. Now, first of all, you're going to pick one that's not a Jezebel. And the way you tell them is that if she's leading with sex, if you haven't developed some sort of playfulness, if you haven't had discussions about philosophies of life, if you don't understand values, if you don't have shared interest, you shouldn't be effing in the first place. Okay? But so many people lead with that because that's the only language they know, and that's part of the effery of our society. But I'm jumping ahead of myself. That's all about sex ed and da-da-da-da. And women are sort of like groomed to go down on men, and that's disgusting. If you don't, it's like putting a guy's penis in your mouth that you're not intimately involved with is revolting. That's disgusting. That's what you do with somebody who has committed themselves to you and who has given you so much pleasure. You are thanking them. That's what fellatio is. What you girls are doing is what people pay whores to do. That's why it's called a job. Get it? Blow job. Says it right there in the name. Blow job. What are you, a whore? Women have whored themselves out. They've been groomed by movies and television set and songs and Disney, I suppose, with the Mickey Mouse Club and what that produced. And, these are my idols. These are the girls I followed them. And now they're like Britney Spears. And like, now I'm supposed to be like this sort of sexy girl. Yeah, that F's women over. I know the end result. I've seen it. And that is what Hollywood weird has churned out. It's been ching, the magic wand of destruction of society. Boom, right there. Get every woman to be a whore voluntarily and be proud of it. Okay, so the secrets of happiness for a woman, like I said a couple of minutes ago, 2.5, is that her happiness is of your utmost happiness and wealth, ultimately. Her happiness. Guess what they've done in this inverted world? All about the man, all about the penis. I got the job, you blow me. When a woman is loved, her manifestation powers increase. Thus, the marital finances flow and abundance is there for them both. He has to appreciate her. He has to have gratitude for her. He has to tell her he loves her. He has to bestow pleasure upon her in the bedroom. So, in our society, men are ruined by porn. They don't know how to make love. They think it's all about the penis. It's the opposite. Her pleasure is paramount. And when I was young, I didn't realize also just how visually aroused men could be. And I blame that on circumcision. I blame that on that being one of the worst things you could ever do to a baby boy. And it's done by all these brainwashed people who don't know why they're doing it. And it's crazy to do that to a child. Also, okay, so we're culturally brainwashed. Women don't know that men can do anything with anybody at any time if they're into it. And she thinks that sex, if he's into it with her or something or wants to do that, she thinks that's because he loves her. No, he doesn't. He just wants to have sex. So women, no. You are not responsible for his hard-on. The wind could blow a certain way and he would get a hard-on. You're not responsible. Oh, it hurts. No. Tell him to go jack off. You're not responsible for his arousal. So, okay, you want to be a woman in this world? Well then, do you have any power at all? Remain on your path. If it's to find a man that's going to raise your babies, remain on your path to find a good one and put him through all the tests, girl, whatever they are for you. But stay on your path and your journey and your higher calling, not his base needs. Not his base needs, your higher calling. And that's what 2026 is all about. It's me on the solo journey to find who I am after doing the soul retrieval and spiritual kintsugi, of being negated my entire life by a mother and having my trajectory completely sideways. And now I am going through and doing the amazing assessment of finding who I am and also looking at it this way. Not a victim, but it certainly was traumatizing. Not a victim. However, I learned so much incredible stuff that, well, you know what happens? You can't be in a relationship with a man you know is going to deplete you, because in sexual union, the man's penis taps in and sucks the energy from the woman. But the inversion is what we're told here. He's giving her energy. No. The more energy he pumps into her, the more he gets. If he's just a dribbler, that's all he's going to get. See? The narcs, they're the best lovers. That last one, why do you think I stayed so long? Oh, I stayed for the kids. I stayed for the garden. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with a woman staying for the kids if she loves the kids. I couldn't stay for the kids. I left for love and I was being tormented and tortured. And I wanted my husband to die. And if you have those feelings, there's no business for you being around him, right? I did black and white photography of my soul angst. I have it in proof. I have it in art, an artist's rendering of what it was like being in that marriage and how crushed and hurt I felt being with him, because he was a malignant narcissist, which is one that he's a good guy to everybody else. He seems very vulnerable. He's got a beautiful wife, but then behind closed doors, he pecks at her, pecks at her, pecks at her. He's never happy. So I left that behind. I understand why, and heading into 2026 with getting my kicks to come along on my little trail to start looking at this as, okay, all right, we're going to face this. We manifested this. We're not victims. Why did I put myself in a place of such dire straits? I'll find out. So more later. Mwah.